Hi, my name is Yaz,
My name is Riaz.
and I know we've had a little bit of a hiatus, but we're back in action now. And today's topic for the video will be: Are all people as capable as each other, and are we all as capable of pursuing our dreams as each other? So, what do you think, Riaz?
I mean, we've spoken this before, but and I think you had a different view from what I believed. I definitely believe that we are all, if given the right opportunities and upbringing, capable of achieving very similar things. I think it's difficult for someone when we're talking about creativity. That's a different matter. But in terms of pursuing our dreams and going to like professions like law, medicine, engineering, banking, I don't see. I think most people don't fit into the extremes where you're really good at something, and that most people generally, if given the same opportunities from birth, if we were able to put all the children in one box, one room,
cohort, yeah.
and just they all will experience the same things, and I think most people would be able to progress into the same things as each other.
Okay. Well, to kind of counteract that, I think if you look at any skill that anyone has, or any subset that anyone has, be it strength, or be it fitness, or be it anything that you can be talented at, there are naturally people who are more talented than other people at certain things. Be that in the creative way, be that in the educational way, be that in anything. People are, if you took 100 people, on average, some of them would have some strengths, and some of them would have some other strengths and other weaknesses. And I think it would be wrong for us to imply, or it would be incorrect for us to imply, that one's capabilities in terms of an educational or professional sense would be any different. I think genes probably have a large part to play in deciding this, and I do agree with you. I think environment has a large part to play, and I think if people are given the right opportunities in life and the right environment, they can progress a lot further than they would otherwise. But I still think that there are some things in life that certain people may not be capable of. Just the same way there's some things in life I might not be capable of. I can only do so well in a certain thing. Someone else might be naturally very talented in and might be able to go much further than I can.
I disagree with you there. I can understand what you're saying. You've got a valid point. However, perhaps I'm optimistic, or perhaps I'm not giving enough credit to those in those professions, and I can't really speak for all other professions like engineering or mathematics, accounting, whatnot. But in terms of medicine, and in terms of sciences, which we learn, I think we're not talking about people who are extremely talented here. They're always going to be in extremes in every sort of profession. People who are really creative, people who these things come naturally to. I'm talking about, do I think most people can do the job generally? Not be fantastic at it, or not research and come up with new things or new ideas. I'm talking about, can people do the similar thing, learn the topics, learn the stuff, and do a good job, not a fantastic job, but just is everyone capable of coming to the same things without being the best at it? And I do believe that. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I have a little case example to kind of make my point a little bit clearer. So I think it was during the Vietnam War when the U.S. Army was drafting people in. They actually required that the soldiers have a minimum IQ. I don't recall what the specific number was, but they required them to sit an IQ test. And if the soldiers did not reach the minimum IQ required, they were not allowed to be drafted or conscripted into the army. And this is the U.S. Army we're talking about, at a time when they would take almost anyone into the army. And if they had a base IQ requirement for people to join the army, and I don't think being in the army is a particularly mentally challenging as much as it's physically challenging, and they still required a certain mental capability of the soldiers, which that kind of shows you that there is a certain subset of society who differ in their capabilities. And I think at the end of the day, it's a spectrum, like anything in life. there are people who are either at either end, and then the majority of us in the middle. But you know, I think even with a job like medicine, I think there's a lot of stress involved in being a doctor or being in a medical profession. There is a lot of time commitment required, high levels of concentration, high levels of studying required, and it's not something that everyone can handle, in my opinion. There's a lot of pressure involved in it.
I mean, you're right. Well, let me talk about your first point, which was talking about, the US Army and the tests they were doing. I don't believe that a lot of these IQ tests really test intelligence. I think, they test intelligence because some people have had experience and exposure to doing certain rigorous mathematical tests and knowledge tests. But, my point is that if you train a child from birth to doing that test and put them through these rigorous tests, I believe they would perform well in these, so-called IQ tests. I don't think these IQ tests are testing your potential. They're testing what your brain has been configured to do, what it's been taught to do from birth, okay? And if you don't train yourself to do these random IQ tests, you're not going to be good at it. I think a lot, fair enough, there might be some testing, but there's a lot you can do with practice.
Yeah.
Your second point was
The medical profession,
and some people not able to deal with the pressure and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think all these things can be trained.
Can be taught, you think?
Can be taught and trained. If you're put in an environment where you're dealing with pressure from a young age, I'm talking about an idealistic world. I'm not talking about the reality. The reality is that a lot of children don't get opportunities to be put through this. They don't have an encouraging environment. They don't have a lot of supportive parents. So I believe if you put children through these tests at an early age and you taught them, then they would be capable of doing it.
Okay. So a kind of way that I would counteract the point that you're making there is, let's talk, for example, about the 100-meter sprint. The 100-meter sprint is, one of the most competitive sports in the world and one of the most watched sports in the world. Now, do you think that if you took, any random child or 100 children at birth and you trained them in exactly the same way, that all of them would achieve exactly the same result?
I mean, you're talking about a particular thing
where
some people will have a greater advantage in physical attributes. Okay. Now that's very different from talking about generalist professions like law, medicine, where lots of people with many different variations. Okay, if we're talking about extremes like, do I believe anyone can be like the best tennis player?
Yeah.
There's no. But do I believe people have potential to be good tennis players? Yes, if they put through these rigorous tests.
What you would say is that each of those children who was made to run the 100-meter sprint, after having the same training, would probably get a different score.
Yeah, I agree.
So it would be a spectrum.
Yep.
So why would you not assume that people's capabilities and people's intelligence would also be a spectrum? Because the only thing that's different there, these 100 children have been trained in exactly the same way. The only thing that's different is that their base level, is their genetic predisposition for what they're involved in. And
I'm not disagreeing with you that there is a spectrum to intelligence. There is, without a doubt. I'm arguing that the limit, the boundary that we say, certain people can go into these things and certain people can't. I'm saying most people, if given the opportunities, would pass that boundary easily.
I think so.
If given the opportunities and the right background and training, they should, from birth, be able to pass that boundary. Because I don't see that as a high boundary, that like in your athletic example.
Okay. I mean, I would like to agree with you. I really would like to see the world in this this clear picture way, where if we've given everyone the same opportunities and we've given everyone the same walks of life, that they would all be as capable enough to to do these things. But when it comes to things like, in this example we're talking about medicine, you're dealing with people's lives, and it's life and death situations on an everyday basis. And I think that's why the cutoff or the recommendation or the point where they set the bar is so high, because they fear that if they can bring it any lower, they would be able to. Some people would be involved or would be becoming doctors who would be at a higher chance of making mistakes that could potentially be life threatening.
I mean, without a doubt, in this world where we have to be realistic, a lot of people do not come from the same baseline. They do not come from the same background. They do not get the same teaching and same opportunities.
Yeah,
they don't have the background that you come from determines your work ethic, your the opportunities you get, how much you push yourself. Your personal attributes. A lot comes from the environment. So in this realistic world, everyone's comes from different points,
Different walks of life.
and therefore it's understandable that there would be these boundaries, because the people don't meet it because of their journey till then. But I'm saying if you could change the way where they started at and control that journey to the testing point, I'm saying most people should be able to meet that testing point.
Most people should be able to meet that.
Sure, there'll be a few people that might not.
Yeah.
You have to account for that. But I think there'll be a lot more people who would meet these boundaries if they were given the right opportunities.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'd have to agree with you, to be fair, on that point. If we were talking about an idealistic world where we're all given the same basic training in life and the same starting point in life and the same entry, then I do think a lot more people will be able to reach this point. I do think a lot of people come from difficult backgrounds that make the progression in their careers a lot harder, and hopefully that's something that we can work on in the future to give more people equal opportunity and equal access to these professions and these walks of life that we have classically been more challenging or viewed as more challenging. All right, well, thanks very much, Riaz, and
no problem. Thank you.
And thanks so much for listening, whoever's out there. Peace.